It started with a vibration on the kitchen counter. His phone face down. We were in the middle of dinner prep. He was slicing garlic. I was rinsing rice. Nothing unusual. But when he stepped away to take a call from his brother, the screen lit up again. And again. And again. Different names. All with hearts. All with notifications that didn't sound like group chats. If you've ever found proof of betrayal, like, subscribe, and stay for more stories where silence becomes strength and the loudest revenge comes wrapped in dignity. I didn't check them right away. I just noted the frequency. Later that night, after he'd fallen asleep on the couch, I reached for his phone. His passcode hadn't changed. For years married, and we'd never hidden anything, at least I hadn't. What I found made my hands shake, but not from heartbreak. From calculation. There were messages, hundreds of them. Photos. Voicemails. A pattern of communication spanning almost 9 months. He wasn't just cheating. He was performing. Seducing. Creating entire personas. One woman called him Mr. Midnight. Another one saved his number as Dr. Bad Decisions. I took screenshots. Then I took a breath. I didn't confront him. Not right away. Because I realized something as I scrolled. He was using the company phone. He'd been sending these messages from work, often during meetings, even from company events. So, I made a folder. Labeled every screenshot by date, name, and time. And then I waited. Because some betrayals deserve more than a broken plate or a slammed door. They deserve an audience. I've always believed in order. In clean file names, labeled inboxes, matching socks. So when I started cataloging my husband's affairs, I didn't do it with rage. I did it with rhythm. Each conversation archived. Each explicit image time-stamped. Some screenshots made my stomach turn. Others made me marvel at how easily he flipped identities, as though our marriage was just one of several acts in his daily performance. But what stayed with me wasn't the vulgarity. It was the mundanity. He sent sexts between budget reviews. He flirted while eating lunch at his desk. He complimented another woman's lingerie while I packed his overnight bag for a conference I now knew was a lie. The folder grew. So did my clarity. He worked in an open-plan office. A modern space with glass walls, branded mugs, and quarterly performance awards. The kind of place that prided itself on culture and team spirit. And for the first time, I saw it not as his domain but as a stage. He'd played me in private. So I'd return the favor in public. I picked a Friday. Printed every screenshot in black and white. 200 sheets, no staples. Piled them in a clean file box labeled HR, Internal Communications. Drove to his office around 2 p.m., late enough that everyone was back from lunch, early enough that no one had left for the weekend. The receptionist didn't stop me. I was still wearing my ring. The elevator ride was silent. I didn't press the floor button until the last second, because I knew once those doors opened, I wouldn't hesitate. The elevator doors slid open with a soft chime. The noise level on the floor was exactly what I expected. Keyboards tapping, someone on a sales call, a microwave beeping faintly in the distance. My heels clicked on the polished floor as I walked in, box in hand. A few people looked up. One even smiled, recognizing me from the last office party. I nodded back. Jake sat at his desk near the center, in front of his glass-walled manager's office. He was laughing at something on his screen. When he saw me, his smile faltered, just slightly.
Surprise.
No alarm. Not yet. I walked right up to him and said one word, calm and clipped. Delivery. Then I tipped the box. 200 pages fanned out like a magician's trick, except no one applauded. They floated, scattered, landed with soft taps across desks, the floor. One even landed in someone's coffee. Silence fell. A single sheet landed on his keyboard. He picked it up, looked at it, And that's when his face drained of color. Explicit texts, screenshots, intimate photos with timestamps that aligned with conference calls and off-site meetings. Names of women he worked with, women he didn't. One coworker gasped. Another backed away. His manager stepped out of the glass office and asked, "What is this?" I didn't answer. I didn't need to. Jake stood, knocking his chair over. His hands trembled as he tried to gather the pages, but they kept slipping from his grasp. He whispered my name like it was some kind of plea. I looked at him, and I said, "Now everyone knows who you really text during work hours." Then I turned, walked to the elevator, and pressed the button. As the doors closed, I saw him kneeling, still trying to collect the papers, still trying to salvage something. But the truth was already scattered, visible, undeniable, and stamped with his own name. By Monday morning, I'd received a call from a blocked number. I let it go to voicemail. It was his HR department. Calm, professional, and just barely holding back the tremble of corporate damage control. They requested a meeting to clarify a disruption that occurred on company premises. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. Jake texted that night. A long message. Apologies, explanations, desperate attempts to frame me as vindictive. He said I'd embarrassed him. Said I made him look like a predator. As if I had created the screenshots. As if I had typed those messages. As if his behavior only became offensive once others saw it. That week, he was placed on administrative leave. 2 women in his office came forward with their own complaints. Apparently, I wasn't the only one who had receipts. I was just the only one who'd printed them. Within 10 days, his resignation was quietly accepted. No farewell card. No cupcakes in the break room. Just an exit interview and a box of his own. At home, I packed his belongings with the same order I used when assembling the evidence. Folded his shirts, boxed his toiletries, left his key on the kitchen table. Then I had the locks changed. What I didn't pack were the small things, the cufflinks I bought him for our anniversary, the framed photo of us at our wedding, the leather journal he used to write fake strategy goals while sexting other women on his phone. I left those in a small pile by the door. Because I wanted him to see them one last time. To remember that I wasn't the one who broke this. I was just the one who stopped pretending it wasn't broken. 3 months later, my photo showed up on the company's LinkedIn page. Not his company. Mine. The one I'd been quietly building a career in while he was busy building secret fantasies. The caption read, "Promoted, Senior Communications Director, a leader in integrity and strategy." I didn't tag anyone. Didn't send the link to him. I didn't need to. I knew he'd see it. We had mutuals. And word spreads quickly when you've humiliated yourself in a glass office with the blinds wide open. I never posted about what happened. Never named names. But somehow, the story traveled. Not just the confetti, but the silence afterward. The way I didn't scream, didn't rant. Just dropped truth like paper and walked away with my spine straight. Jake moved out of state. That much I heard from a friend of a friend. Apparently, he's working freelance now. Reputation follows like a shadow, and his is long and messy. Last I checked, none of the women from his message history stayed with him. They liked the idea of him better than the reality of his aftermath. Telling the story isn't about revenge. It's about the reminder that dignity and planning can do what shouting never will. When someone shows you who they are through pixelated lies, you can unravel their delusion with a printer and a plan. I still have the last printed sheet. It's framed in my closet, not for nostalgia, but for certainty. Because sometimes the paper trail they thought would stay buried becomes the thing that buries them. If you've ever turned betrayal into bold action, like subscribe and stay for more stories where silence isn't weakness, it's preparation.